Good evening. When I was 17 years old, I had to make my choice for higher education. And although I had a lot of interest, I really didn't know what to choose. And finally, I decided to become an engineer. Why? Well, my brother was studying for engineer, and my cousin was an engineer. And during my studies, I was able to pass the exams. But if they would have asked me the same questions 1 month later, I might have only known half of it. So during my studies, I didn't learn how to learn, and I didn't find my passion in life. Luckily, I found it afterwards. The reason I'm telling you this is I'm sure in this room some more people face the same problem. And many students out there are facing the problem right now. Losing their interest in learning, not finding their passion in life, and sometimes quitting. And that's unacceptable. That's why we wrote the book Edushock. Now, the purpose of my presentation tonight is to make you aware of the change we need and to spread the word. Edushock, a shock in education. But we mean it very positively. We have been applying appreciative inquiry to write our book. That means that you go out from the situation of today, what runs already well. And then you look, how could the future of learning be like? And then you design lines between the actual status and the future stage. And in the book we give a lot of tips to make it possible for people because nobody is able to make that big jump. With little steps to move from the actual stage towards the future stage. So we need 3 things. We need a vision, we need creativity, and we need edu changes. Let's start with a vision, which is described in the book, but I will highlight the changes we need. The first change we need is we have to move from closed to open education. Suhata Mitra, an Indian expert in education, did a very nice experiment. You might know this hole in the wall. Well, he placed the computer in a hole in the wall at a distant place in India. And kids who had never seen a computer before, they were just intrigued by the machine and they started playing with it. And in less than 1 hour, they were able to surf on the internet. So the human potential is very, very big. If you look in many schools, quite some students are sitting still, passive, for most part of the day. So we strongly believe in co-creation, collaboration, project-related work where students can be activated, where they can really be creative. And we have to move from this one-to-many relationship between a teacher and a student towards a one-to-one relationship. And several things can help. Technology can help, social media can help, distant learning, online learning. But those enablers, they won't replace the teacher. But a teacher who is able to integrate these technologies in school will be able to realize this co-creation. We think it has to do also with mentality. We have to move away from this not invented here syndrome and move to a proudly found elsewhere mentality. The second change we need is to move to personalized curriculum. We are preparing students for a future that will be completely different when they are leaving schools. So beyond knowledge, they need emotional intelligence, social skills, resilience, entrepreneurship, but also the ability to think. I think that's the best we can give to students as a teacher, but also as a parent, the ability to think logical, analytical, but also to think creative, lateral. And if you can do that, you can face or solve whatever problem that comes on your way. With a personalized curriculum, we don't mean individualized learning. A personalized curriculum means it's adapted to the talents of the kids, it's adapted to the interests, but also to the learning styles. And I think we have all a duty, not only the teachers, but helping kids, children, students to detect their talents. And it will not be by overloading them with information, knowledge, and activities, but also by carefully listening to them, listening to their interests, observing them, what they really like to do. We think we need a T certificate. A T certificate means a talent certificate. And I'm working in Philips, and if I have somebody applying for a job, I rather like him or her to come with a T certificate, with a talent certificate, than with a CV. Because then I will be able to give a job which really fits the interests and the talents of the person. We need to turn schools into lighthouses of education, an inspiring environment where people from different ages can learn from each other, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days in a week, where there is interaction with the society, with companies, with startups, where the teacher has a different role. Beyond being an expert, he's also a coach, a mentor for the student who takes his or her own learning process in hand. Do we have to build new schools for that? I have no objection. But we can also start from the actual schools and via little steps move to the lighthouse of education. For instance, by stimulating learning outside the school walls. Quite some tips in Edushock how you can do that. How to become a more inspiring teacher. I will give an example in a few minutes. But also, how to create this inspiring learning environment. Because if you ask people where they get their best ideas, virtually nobody answers at work or in the classroom. Think about it. You can take steps there, and it doesn't have to cost always a lot of money. The second thing we need is creativity. We all have it with us, our brain. And it requires creativity to implement the tips which we give in Edushock into the local context. But also to come up with new things, with new ideas about education innovation. And then we need Edu changes. We believe we can change only the education system from within. And therefore, we invented a new word, Edu changes. In Dutch, it's onderwijzers. Basically, also this year, there will be a competition for the best onderwijzer of the year in Holland. Edu changes are people who are willing to change the education system, who are willing to bring innovation and creativity in education. And an Edu changer, that can be a teacher, but it can also be a student. It can be somebody from school management. It can be a parent. It can be all of you. We can all help there. And at the moment, we are uniting these Edu changers via our website, but also via our social media. We're quite active on Facebook. You can follow Edushock also on LinkedIn. We have a community of more 800 people discussing about the future of education at the moment. Also on Twitter, you can follow us. And basically, we have also an Edu Changes network in Holland already. Lately, 7th of March, Edushock experience took place in Nijmegen. And you can see this was not a really conventional conference. It's an unconference, basically, where students were taking the stage. And we really had workshops. Really a different way of bringing innovation and education. And here, basically, the book came alive. We have also an Edu Changes network in Belgium, where we're from. And there we also do more than just bringing innovation in our own area. Edu Changes there are triggering other people to become an Edu Changer as well. If you look at the book, the SHOCK is also an acronym. It stands for School, Humanity, Open Education, Culture, and Knowledge. And that's basically the 5 chapters of the book. Beyond, we have also a story of an Edu Changer, a student who became an Edu Changer, and which we explain in the book. But if we look at the different chapters, there are 4 trends per chapter. We have 20 trends which describe basically the change we need, the 3 changes which you have seen over these 20 trends. And every trend has basically the same build-up. There's a shocking tweet. There's a story between a teacher and a student giving some more explanation to this trend. We develop our vision, how education could prepare for this trend. We summarize it, and then we give tips. Tips for teachers, for students, for parents, but also for school administration to deal with this trend, to anticipate on this trend. And to make it a bit concrete, I will highlight 2 of the 20 trends now. And the first one is Teacher Inspire. The tweet, the shocking tweet. Teachers that can be replaced by a machine should be. Arthur C. Clarke. Do we mean that literally? Well, not exactly, but you see that a teacher will move from an expert more and more also to a coach, a role model, a mentor. Static in front of the classroom, going to more movement in and outside the classroom. Giving the correct answer, yes, but also ask critical questions. So it's important also not throw away the left part. It's an evolution. And move towards the right part. One of the examples we give of as tips is storytelling, which is important for a teacher. You might know the book of Dan and Chip Heath about sticky stories. They have been investigating why information is translated or transferred over ages, tales, sayings. Well, there are these elements which are inside. When it's simple, unexpected, concrete, credible, and emotional, and a story, well, you will remember it quite easily. And also students will remember it, and it will be much, much more pleasant to watch the lessons. And you can follow a course on storytelling. That's one of the tips which we give. There's even a meta stick for teachers available on our website. A second trend is diploma obtained, job not yet invented. The tweet, Department of Education puzzled. The curriculum of schools is preparing for jobs that are obsolete within 4 years. Well, we are evolving more and more from know-how to know-who. It's impossible to know everything yourself. So it becomes important to have a good network of people who are creating the knowledge. Have co-creation, collaboration, and that way build up this varied knowledge. And of course also a curriculum according to the needs of the students. You could, for instance, invite a trend watcher in your school and ask them what will the new trends mean for the curriculum, for the learning material. What will become more important? What will become less important? And that way actualize, make it up to date or up tomorrow. There are some jobs of the future. I especially like the body parts maker. And it's not so far away anymore. Lately they were able to make a chin out of 3D metal. And they are working now on biomaterials and nanomaterials. So that will also be a change in our education system to prepare for this kind of jobs. Summarized what I explained you, the 3 big changes and the 2 enablers. And we think the 80 changes have the key. And therefore, I'm sure in this room, I think we are around 100 people and some people watching this TED Talk on the internet. Well, we can all do something. We can really help. You all can be an EDU changer. And how can you help? Well, you can trigger other people. You can share the information. You can share the links. You can follow us on the social media. There's a book for sale. We can give it to yourself as a present or give it away to a possible EDU changer. But really participate in this education innovation because it's needed very much. And we think the momentum is there. So please help, join us, and that way you will help the students of the future to find their passion in life. Thank you very much.